Welcome to One More Thing, a straight-to-the-point, stripped-down mini-sode from my seminary life. You can catch new episodes of MSL every Saturday morning. Today, as we continue our study on systematic theology, we're going to talk about what is a soul and what is a spirit. A soul is defined, in a biblical sense, the appetites, emotions, volitions, and reasonings that distinguishes a living being from an inanimate object. A spirit, in the biblical sense, is understood literally as wind or breath that brings life to a body where emotions, volitions, and reasoning resides. So the question, obviously, that comes from that then is, so what is the difference? What is the difference between a soul and a spirit, if they both relate to the emotions and volitions and worth that a human has? Well, this is why, for centuries, biblical scholars have debated between a dichotomy view or a trichotomy view of the human. In a dichotomy view, humans are seen as body and soul spirit, that the soul and the spirit are one and the same thing. They're interchangeable terms that mean the immaterial aspect of a human that contains their emotions and volitions. In a trichotomy view, it is seen that a human is three parts: body and soul and spirit. That the soul and the spirit are two different parts of the human. It's hard to explain, though, what that big division would be. The soul is the immaterial aspect, and the spirit is the life, the literal life coming in and going out from a person. The conversation continues to get even heavier when we start to wrestle with, when does the soul and spirit enter a human? Is it in the creationist view, not the Genesis creationist view, but in the anthropology creationist view, where God creates the soul and adds it to the human during the procreation part of their life? Or is it the traducianism, the thought that human spirits or thoughts are brought into existence through procreation? This conversation gets heavier and heavier as you take more and more steps, as we begin to wrestle with, what does it mean to have a soul? Is a soul and the spirit two different things? Are we two parts? Are we three parts? Did God put the soul inside of the human? Is it created in procreation? It's all very boggling. And one of those things that ultimately we could talk about it and we can theorize about it, but it's something that we may not truly be able to understand and grasp this side of heaven. Which is why in reading for the class, when Grudem closed his chapter by saying, that's really all that we can say. This is really all we can say. It's fun to get into theology and to wrestle with these lofty concepts and try to figure out, study God in a deep way and study humanity in a deep way, but we are still finite creatures. So in the end, there is going to come a point where we have to say, I don't know. I personally would say that we are a dichotomy, that the soul and the spirit, based off of Scripture, are the same thing, just two different terms. But I'm not willing to die on a hill about that. And I don't think you should either, because we really don't know. What's important, though, is that we admit that limitation and that we embrace the truth that humans are more than just flesh, that there is something deeper to them, and that we should care about their deeper spiritual life as well. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all on Saturday, and remember, keep on studying.